Hey, thanks for checking out this video today. My name is Charlie. I am the Wrestling Dad 149. I am here to break down the 2023 World Championships for day two, which was underway yesterday. As you're watching this video, I'm filming the night of day two, but it's about 9 o'clock my time now, so you will be seeing this on Wednesday, September, I think it's 16th tomorrow. So anyway, let's get going. Let's jump right into it today. If you have not already, please go ahead, thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and click the bell for notifications to get all the updates on my channel, as well as see a ton of wrestling content. So starting the day off, jumping right into the quarterfinals. The U.S. had three wrestlers make the quarterfinals today. Chance Marsteller at 79 kilos, Zahid Valencia at 92 kilos, and Kyle Dake at 74 kilos. Zain Richards was our 57 kilo rep. He lost right off the bat, first round to Azerbaijan. And then Azerbaijan did not make the final, so Zain's tournament ended at 0-1, unfortunately. So jumping right in, Marsteller had Azerbaijan in the quarters, and right away got down 6-0 in the first 30 seconds of the match, got taken down and gutted twice. And really, that was pretty much the story of the whole match. There was not a whole lot Marsteller could do from there. He basically got a step out and ended up losing about 6-1. And just the Azerbaijan wrestler just kind of shut it down and stalled out the rest of the match, was able to keep Marsteller off his legs. And so that was it for Chance. The Azerbaijan wrestler at 79 kilos did not make the finals either, so Chance's tournament ended there. I believe he was 1-1 or 2-1. Moving on up to 92 kilos, we had Zahid Valencia in the quarterfinals. It was a little bit tight early on. Neither guy could get anything going. Again, wrestling against I don't have the team down. I can't remember. I think he wrestled Azerbaijan in the semis. Anyway, Zahid gets 2 shot clock points. He goes up 2-0. Then he gives up a takedown to go down 4-3 with 30 seconds left. Zahid gives up another takedown and loses 5-1. I'm sorry, this was against Azerbaijan in the quarterfinals today. Zahid goes on the shot clock, gives up a point, gives up a takedown to go down 3-1, and then gets taken down one more time at the end to lose to Azerbaijan. So Zahid dropped into kind of wrestling purgatory there, waiting to see if the Azerbaijan wrestler would make the finals, which he did. So Zahid has been pulled back into the repechage. He'll have a chance to wrestle for bronze tomorrow. I believe he'll have to win 2 matches to get bronze. And then 74 kilos in the quarterfinals was a weird match for Dake. I wrote here too close for comfort against Takatani of Japan. Dake took a 1-0 shot clock lead in the first, and then in the second, Japan was able to expose Dake to go up 2-1, and then expose Dake again off another one of Dake's shot to go up 4-1, but Dake was able to get a reversal and a turn to tie it 4-4, and Takatani still had the lead at that point because he had two two-point moves, and Dake had one 2-point move and 2 1-pointers. So Dake finally got a push out with about, 30 seconds, 45 seconds left to go up 5-4, and he was able to hold on and win that match. But Dake did not look good, I thought, against Takatani. It was kind of an awkward match where Dake was getting exposed off his own attacks, which is not something you see a ton from Kyle Dake. So it was a little bit of a weird one. One other wrestler I wanted to talk about in the quarterfinals was Stevan Micic. He wrestles for Serbia, of course, but he is, a U.S. wrestler. He wrestled for the University of Michigan. He's a Cliff Keen Wrestling Club guy. He had Yagoyev. This was probably the best match of the day up there between him and maybe Taylor beating Yazdani again. But Yagoyev immediately got a go-behind takedown in the first 30 seconds, and I thought Stevan was in big trouble. Micic was able to then score an exposure from a whizzer seatbelt position. They were in that whizzer seatbelt a ton. The scramble ensues, and then Yagoyev ends up exposing Micic through the scramble. So it's like Wizard seatbelt. He hipped into Yagoyev hard. Yagoyev rolled across his back. Then Yagoyev was able to kick over and have Stevan expose. Micic was close to not exposing, so he challenged that and lost the challenge. So he was down 5-2. So Yagoyev got a takedown, exposure, and missed challenge point, and Micic had a exposure from the Wizard seatbelt. Later in the first period, they go Wizard seatbelt again, and Yagoyev ends up scoring a takedown. Yagoyev was really good at getting in. He was on the seatbelt position while Stevan had the Wizard, and Yagoyev was just really good at, he was stepping behind Micic and getting Micic's leg on his far hip, and then he would just keep coming behind and elevate and come behind for the takedown. So going into the break, Stevan was down 7-2 against Yagoyev. I forgot to mention Yagoyev's got a hell of a resume as well. He is a Olympic champion in 2020, and he won the 2019 Worlds and the 2018 Worlds. So he is like a two-time world champion and an Olympic champion. This is a guy that does not lose very many wrestling matches, and Stefan's down 5 points going into the break. So in the second period, Micic gets a clean single leg and finishes really clean on the shelf and ends up going down 7-4. Then Micic gets to his seatbelt position. So this is the first time where Micic has a seatbelt. Yagoyev had the Wizard, and he was able to just punch Yagoyev's Wizard over and get another takedown to be down 7-6. I think Micic also had a step out in there somewhere. Oh, no. It was 7-4, 7-6, sorry. And then Micic scored another takedown from a single leg scramble at the buzzer. He kind of dove in with about 8 seconds left, got like a double low leg, came up in the waterfall position, a scramble kind of ensued, and Micic came out the back door and bumped Yagoyev to his hip. And then as they continued to scramble, Micic was able to throw a leg in again and bump Yagoyev to his other hip, and they awarded him the takedown for him to take the lead 8-7, and then Yagoyev threw a YOLO brick and ended up losing that challenge. So the official score is 9-7 Micic over the Olympic champion, the reigning Olympic champion, and he moved on to the semifinals from there. So that was awesome to see Stevan Micic. I think everybody's super pumped and happy for him, to win that match and beat Yagoyev and make the semifinals. So moving on to the semis, now we have, I believe 2 American wrestlers plus Micic in the semis. So Abazov, I have Abazov loses. That's the guy that Chance lost to from Azerbaijan. He lost 3-0 to the Russian, so Chance was out. Nurmagomedov of Azerbaijan, who had beaten, that was the guy that beat Zahid. He won a really quick tech fall, 3 takedowns, 2 turns, and Zahid got drawn back in. That match was only about a minute long, so I think that's a great matchup for Zahid for the bronze medal match. He'll have to beat one other opponent to get there. But, just going off of kind of how Zahid's match went against Nurmagomedov and how this other guy's match went, it's looking good for Zahid if he can make it into that bronze medal match to get that medal. That would be fantastic. Micic was up next against Abakarov of Albania. Abakarov is obviously a complete stud as well. He's not as tenured as Yagoyev, but I don't have his stats right in front of me, but I think he has wrestled Yagoyev in the finals in 1 or 2 of those events that Yagoyev won. So he is also a complete stud. He's got multiple medals. So in the first period, not a lot going on. Abakarov of Albania goes on the shot clock, and Micic takes the lead 1-0. Micic was able to dive in at the end of the first, but got caught on his belly. No points awarded, but it was kind of a weird situation. Micic was winning and dove in and really was extended the entire time. It definitely looked like Abakarov could have scored there, but he just ran out of time. The second period, Abakarov came out with a really high pace and got Micic put on the clock, and then it went to 1-1. So Micic was losing on criteria. Abakarov shoots off a high crotch. Micic chest wraps and throws Abakarov for 4. Abba gets a reversal, but the score became 5-2 in favor of Micic. Abakarov challenged and lost the challenge, so Micic got another point, so it was 6-2, and with 1 minute left in the match. Abakarov was really working hard to try to get Micic moving, to get to an attack, but Micic was able to hold on. 6-2, makes the World Finals, and he was really pumped. The crowd popped big for this. The World Championships are in Belgrade, Serbia. Micic represents Serbia, so the crowd was super excited to see a Serbian make the finals in his home country. It's awesome for Stevan. Obviously, a great moment, and I hope he wins the gold tomorrow or later today, I guess, if you guys are watching this. 74 kilos, Dake wrestled this Greek Kogi Umstid. Kogi Umstid is the last name. He's from Greece. He defeated, he's the one that beat Magomedov, Kadzi Magomedov in the quarter, or he beat Kadzi Magomedov early on. I forgot to mention, 74 got blown up. Both Frank Chamizo and Kadzi Magomedov both lost early, and they were expected to be Dake's kind of path to the finals. So he was going to have a world champ in the quarters, an Olympic silver medalist in the semis that had tech Dake at the Olympics, and then Sidakov in the finals. But Kadzi Magomedov and Frank Chamizo both lost early on. So Dake beat the Japanese wrestler that had beaten Frank Chamizo, and now this Greek wrestler, Kogi Umstid, had beaten Kadzi Magomedov. So the Greek wrestler was warned early on, but there was really no attempts in the first 2 minutes from either guy. Dake goes up 1-0 on the shot clock. Dake then gets a step out to go up 2-0, and he's looking really good here. It looks like he's going to pretty much lock this thing down. They go to the break 2-0, and in the second, Dake takes a shot right off the whistle, and the Greek wrestler really... the Greek wrestler, Dake shot off the whistle, it got stuffed. The Greek wrestler got to a high C, and Dake got to his crotch lift, circle behind to go up 4-0. So again, I was not worried about Dake, but it did get a little more interesting later on. Dake wanted to get a turn as well when he got that go behind, because he kind of got the takedown and then was able to double off and put the Greek wrestler on his back, but the corner was like, we're not challenging when you're up 4-0. Like, just keep wrestling. There was only 90 seconds left in the match. So the Greek wrestler got to a low single a couple times late in the match, and Dake had his chest wrap. And if you remember from the Olympic team trials in 2020, when he gets that chest wrap in on those low legs, he had Jordan Burroughs completely stuffed. This Greek wrestler just, he just popped right up off of Dake's chest wrap. And so that guy has some unbelievable power and an unbelievable feel to be able to wrestle in there with a guy like Kyle Dake, who is so dangerous with his chest wrap. The Greek wrestler just kind of made it look like it was a non-issue. So the Greek was able to elevate and come up to the waterfall position. They came up to standing, and Dake was able to defend only to give up a push-out, so it was 4-1 in favor of Dake. The Greek then took injury time with 45 seconds left. He got to his low leg again. Dake again chest wrapped. They get to a wild scramble, but time runs out. There was no points. Dake wins 4-1 and moves on to the finals. Just really impressed with the Greek and what he was able to do. And I saw some talk on Twitter that he was just, when he beat Kadzi Magomedov, he was just super, super scrambly and really awkward and had just an incredible feel. And I think we saw that a little bit against Dake. Dake is super, super controlled. So it was interesting to see him be able to kind of make some action happen in some of those controlled positions that Dake usually dominates. So Dake will wrestle Sidakov in the finals. They have never wrestled before. Sidakov has beaten Jordan Burroughs twice. He won the Olympics. He's won multiple gold medals. So that'll be a great finals. So then after that, now we move on to the finals from day one. We had 3 in the finals and 1 wrestle for bronze from the United States. Vito at 61. Vito Arujau at 61, I'm sorry. Zain Rutherford at 70 kilograms. David Taylor at 84 kilos. And Mason Paris at 125 kilos. So Vito had Abazgadze Magomedov of Russia, who's wrestling under a neutral flag. And Vito was pretty dominant throughout the entire match. He hit that beautiful kind of drag reshot to a sweep to get a push out like almost instantaneously off the whistle. So he was up 1-0 right away. He was snapping heavy on Magomedov, keeping him moving. Magomedov was able to get to Vito's legs. Vito was able to chest wrap him and roll him through twice, but they did not award the points for a really long time. Magomedov ends up getting a takedown, and on the scoreboard for a while it was 2-1, and then they ended up changing it to 5-2 with 4:20 left in the match. Magomedov challenged. I wasn't sure what he challenged, but he ended up winning the challenge. But instead of it being 5-2, they just changed the score to 7-4, so it was no difference in the point differential. They just gave each guy 2 more points. But Magomedov was able to keep his challenge. It was kind of weird. Moving on, later in the match, I think after the break, Magomedov was able to get a single in the air. Vito was able to defend and sprawl, and it was kind of like one of those, the Russian brought him up, Vito sprawled back down, up, down a couple times. Vito got to his crotch lift and was able to expose the Russian and roll him through off of a waterfall. It was called a 2-2 exchange. Vito challenged the call. This brought the score to 7-6. This was a very controversial position because Vito's corner challenges the call when he is winning 7-6 and they end up losing the challenge. So Vito for a short time was losing on criteria 7-7 and was not looking good. It was very, very nerve-wracking at the time, but pretty quick after that, Vito was able to get a pretty simple go behind on the Russian to go up 9-7, and he really never looked back. Magomedov looked pretty tired after that takedown. And Vito was able to get one more reshot to a push out and go up 10-7. And then Magomedov ended up getting another push out, and then the ref gave him a caution and won, but Vito was able to win 10-9. And he was your world champ at 61 kilos this year. When he won, he had a little bit of blood coming out of his head and got his hand raised, and he was very excited, as he should be. Really cool moment for Vito Arujau, and I was not happy. I don't like the caution and 1 step outs. I think it's stupid. You're punishing a wrestler for the same hold 2 times. Just give it the caution in 1. Tell the guy he's not wrestling, because then the other wrestler, the offensive wrestler, gets can go part tier if he wants. But you should not get 2 points for that. It's not the right call, in my opinion. So Vito joins a small group of guys in the last, 10, 12, 15 years, which are Gable Stevenson, Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Snyder, to win a world or Olympic title while they still have, either right after they finish college eligibility or while they still have college eligibility. Before them, the last guy to do it was Stephen Neal. He beat Brock Lesnar in the NCAA finals back in, I think it was 1999 or 2001 or something like that. And then he went and won a world title. So that, that's a pretty elite group. That's a pretty cool thing to do. So congrats to Vito. Fantastic for USA Wrestling and everybody involved. Moving on, 70 kilos, Zain Rutherford versus Yazdani Charati of Iran. I was really nervous about this match because I know Yazdani was a favorite last year and he drew Israel out the gate, and so he had to forfeit out of the meet. But Zain really took it to him. Zain picked him apart. Started out with a single leg step out. Yazdani got to a high C and was able to finish pretty easily to take the lead 2-1. Zain was then able to get to his high C for 2, and Zain went up 3-2 with 30 to go in the first. So pretty good scoring in the first period. Zain got to a high C, and Yazdani tried to crotch lift him, but Zain exposed Yazdani 5-2. That was at the beginning of the second period. Zain then hit another reattack for a step out to go up 6-2, and then Zain hit a really nice, easy high crotch, just textbook, hit the corner, drive through to go up 8-2, and Yazdani just looked broke at that point. I mean, he had pretty much given up. So he just looked totally disheveled the last minute and a half of the match, and he was trying to go upper body and kind of pushed Zain out of bounds, and also got a caution in 1, so Zain was up 8-4 with 11 seconds left, and Zain ends up winning after the caution was here, so he must have gotten a takedown or another step out or something. But anyway, Zain wins 8-5 after the caution won. Zain's gold medalist. You could see he was overcome with emotion after the match. It was a really cool moment. Remember watching Zain years ago in college. It feels like it was a long time ago. Maybe it wasn't. But he was like the guy. He was the most dominant guy in NCAA wrestling. 2 Hodge trophies. Definitely a guy that you thought was going to go on and have success at the world level right away, and it took him a little longer than maybe expected, but now he's a world champion, and so obviously pumped for Zain Rutherford, Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, getting another world champ. Fantastic stuff. Moving on to 86 kilos, Miles Amin, American, another Michigan guy, wrestles for San Marino, was able to capture another bronze medal, which was awesome for him because it almost automatically qualifies him for the Olympics. Because he's really the only San Marino wrestler. He won, again, 8-5, similar kind of situation as, or same score as Zain. So awesome for Miles Amin. He wrestled Shapiev of Uzbekistan and really kind of picked him apart. Again, it was kind of like Amin was kind of running up the score and then gave up a few points late. But the big match that everyone was looking forward to was up at 86 kilos, which was David Taylor against Yazdani Chirati of Iran. And this match kind of went a little more how, I wouldn't say how I expected, but just kind of like I had been saying in my video yesterday. If you haven't seen my upload from yesterday, go check it out. But I was kind of saying that I don't think that Yazdani is going to be very successful if his plan is to go out and underhook David Taylor to death, because David Taylor picked him apart from that underhook last year in the World Finals. And Yazdani really just kind of didn't go to his underhook, but really didn't have much else of a plan, or whatever his plan was just ineffective. And Taylor kind of picked him apart and basically kicked his ass. There was early in the match a double leg sequence where Taylor hits a double leg, drives. Yazdani basically, in my opinion, what Yazdani was like, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to give this up. I'm just going to chest wrap and hope they give me points. And that's what he did. And initially the call on the mat was 4 points for Yazdani and 0 for Taylor, which was unbelievable. It was a 1-to-1 match at that point. And they went back. David Taylor's corner challenged it. And if you watch it, Yazdani does nothing to stop Taylor's motion. He just grabs and rips, and he grips and rips and rolls him through. And they changed the call to a 4-2 call, which I thought was the correct call. I didn't even really think Yazdani really deserved points, but 4-2 was probably the right call. I might be a little biased there. So Taylor ends up taking the lead 5-3 after that. But Yazdani really wasn't using his underhook, and he didn't really look like he had much else of a game plan other than he thought he was going to beat David Taylor without using his best tie. So it was just kind of weird game plan from Yaz, or maybe it was just ineffective what he was trying to do. Let's see here. So we got that at the break, 5-3 at the break. Taylor shoots. Taylor shoots in. Yazdani goes to the front head, blown dead. There's a lot of hand fighting, a lot of hard hand fighting, but Yazdani is not looking for underhooks. Taylor hits a low double. Yaz tries to chest wrap. Taylor goes waterfall, finishes pretty easily once he gets Yazdani elevated to go up 7-3. Yaz now starts going desperation, starts digging that underhook, looking for the knee pick again. Taylor drops to his knees to block. Taylor hits one last single. Yazdani again tries to chest wrap and expose, and Yazdani he just went desperation here. He was gripping and ripping. You've probably seen clips already where he's trying to chest wrap David, and David put him to his back and ends up getting the fall with 2 seconds left. Unreal finish. David Taylor had 3 falls at the World Championships and 2 tacks. He did not go the distance in a single match at the World Championships, and he wrestled an 8-time medalist and Olympic champion in the finals and pinned him. That is an unbelievable performance. There's a lot of the talk about David Taylor being the most dominant wrestler of all time, and I think he has a hell of an argument with this tournament that he just turned in. I know people talk about all the time Dan Gable wrestling in 72 and never giving up a single point. This is like that kind of performance, in my opinion. By ending every match early, that's something you just don't see very often, especially when you have such a guy like Yazdani Chirati in the finals, where he's a world champ. He's a multiple-time world champion. He's an Olympic champion. And Taylor took it to him and pinned him. So a really, really dominant performance. I know there's other guys that, like you look at a Sadulayev, you could say, well, he's the most dominant because he wins the most, but he doesn't rack up the points. He doesn't compete the way that David Taylor does. And I think that's what David Taylor's trying to say is like, I score more points than anybody in the world. Nobody puts up points like I do. And I think he's right. I think he's got a hell of an argument there. So the last match I'm going to go over was Mason Paris against Kurbanov of Russia. Now, I believed in Mason Paris as soon as I heard that he was announced as the U.S. rep, that Gable Stevenson was stepping down, because I just had seen how he competed against Gable. He lost a couple close matches to Gable at Final X. I knew that Mason would be in the mix. After I saw the video of him pinning Zari, and I know that was years ago, I just knew that he's a smaller, athletic heavyweight that's going to be difficult for some of these international guys to handle, and that's exactly what happened. He took Petriashvili, who ended up taking silver, to the edge. I mean, that guy was just by the skin of his teeth got past Mason. Mason was almost in the finals. So Mason drew Kurbanov of Russia, wrestling under a neutral flag, who also had Petriashvili down 4-0. And I felt that Mason had a wonderful game plan going into this, a wonderful one. A really smart game plan going into this match because he picked up the pace right away. Russia's typically never in great shape. Their guys are usually a little bit, the shape isn't the biggest, most important thing to them. And then with the time they've had off, I thought that was a smart move that they would be in a little even worse shape this year. And so Mason was attacking and attacking and attacking. He ends up getting his fireman's pretty early and really worked hard for a gut wrench, but didn't end up scoring it. He was keeping the pace really high. Kurbanov was able to get a step out, so Mason was only up 2-1. Then Mason hits a double leg, gets pulled up, and Kurbanov tried to throw Mason and just went straight to his back, and Mason got 4 out of it. Mason didn't expose, so it was 6-1 Mason. And at this point, I was like, okay, this Mason, as long as nothing catastrophic here, Mason's going to take care of this guy. Kurbanov then scored another step out to go up, to cut the lead down 6-2. Mason continued to keep a high pace, taking a lot of shots on Kurbanov. Kurbanov tried a high C, and Mason was able to get a go behind with short time left in the first to go up 8-2 at the break. And then after the break, Mason stayed on the attack again, lots of shots. I mean, he might have set a freaking heavyweight record for the amount of shots he was taking. He was really going after it. Mason was able to get a single leg up in the air, leg on the outside. He stepped through, backtripped Kurbanov down, and was able to take the lead up to 10-2. Mason finally, later in the period, was able to get a go behind to take another takedown to get a tech fall for the bronze medal, 12-2. So USA goes 4 for 4 in medal matches. Mason Paris is a world bronze medalist, and he has qualified 125 kilos for the United States of America to wrestle in the Olympics. So I think we have 3 weight classes qualified for the Olympics, which is fantastic. From day one, did we get another one today? I can't remember. My brain's not working. Yeah, of course we did. Kyle Dake. Kyle Dake's in the finals. So he's got a medal, so 74 kilos is also qualified. And then the performance that these athletes that I just went over the finals matches with, unbelievable performance from these guys. They went a combined 17-1 at the World Championships on day 1 and 2. Just unbelievable stuff. Couldn't be prouder, couldn't be happier for Team USA. It was so much fun to watch. I'm glad that day 1 happened on a Saturday so I can be home and watch it. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do another recap. It probably won't be as detailed as the ones I've done the last 2 days because I'm going to have to go to work tomorrow and I can't sit around and watch wrestling all morning, which has been a lot of fun. But I do appreciate if you made it this far through the video, for watching the entire thing. I hope it's been informative. I hope it's been helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please, again, go ahead, smash that thumbs up button. Hit the script. I always get like this at the end of the video. I'm like tripping over my words. Thumbs up the video, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.